What I want to talk about today is something that I think a lot of people have thought about at some point in their lives, but maybe not taken a ton of time to consider, and that's taking things for granted. I think as Americans, as a whole, we take a lot of different things for granted. We don't really realize how amazing the opportunities and freedom that we have here are, whereas that might not be the case in a lot of other countries. And we're given a lot that other people don't have. We have a general idea is that we have the ability to get a job and work our way up and make something of our lives, and we're in control, and in a lot of places they aren't in control of their circumstances. So we don't have to worry about things like having our house be bombed because we're in a war, or not having electricity or toilets at locations of places. So I think as a whole, there's a lot of things we take for granted. But I think in our daily lives, there's even more smaller things that we take for granted. We don't have to worry about walking around and getting robbed or shot normally when we're going about our daily business. We generally know that we're going to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or if we don't know if we're going to have all of those meals, most people aren't starving. Um, and especially there's a lot of people that live in poverty, but not the type of poverty that exists all around the world. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, there are people that live on less than $1.25 a day, and that's crazy. What is $1.25? Yesterday I bought a little graham cracker covered in chocolate, and it cost $1.25, and that would have been all I would have had for that whole day. So if you think about what $1.25 is, you'd have nothing, no extra things. Most of your money would go towards food, so you weren't starving. You wouldn't have a TV or a radio. I'd say everyone probably who's watching this has some sort of TV in their house, or two TVs or three TVs. Right now I'm taking a video on my laptop, so those type of things wouldn't exist. And not only would you not have these luxury items, but you might not have access to things like electric, water, and sanitation. So not only do you not have a TV, you don't have anything to make your TV work because you don't have electric. So you don't have running water, you don't have a stove, you don't have a microwave, you don't have showers, you're not clean. Everywhere you can go, you can walk in and buy a water bottle. Perhaps there's a drinking fountain somewhere. Water is taken for granted. These are all sort of things that are taken for granted, but I think they're hard to consider because they're not our circumstances, and we've grown up not being exposed, not having water, or not having electric. So I read a quote somewhere once, and I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it was something along the lines of, I'm never going to tell my children to think about the starving children in Africa when they don't finish their meal, because they aren't starving children in Africa, and that's not their circumstance. They don't know what that's like. So these aren't really our circumstances. It's hard for us to grasp and really understand what it's like to live that. So something that has made me want to talk about this is the Stop Online Piracy Act that's currently being looked at in the House of Representatives and the Judiciary Court. And it's essentially a law that expands the power of law enforcement and copyright holders to fight online traffic in copyrighted intellectual property and counterfeited goods. So essentially, they go online, and if a website has some sort of like illegal pirated type video, copyrighted pictures, things like that, the law enforcement can shut that website down. So websites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, various movie websites can all be shut down. And there are pros and cons, of course, to this, but having access to the internet is something we take for granted. We don't know what it's like to experience the law enforcement censoring the materials that we see. And I think when we think about that, we're like, oh, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe like their government is censoring that stuff. But that happens, and that could happen. So it's something right now that we're taking for granted that could potentially be taken away. And I think that we have all these things and we don't understand that at any point they can go away. We think that we're going to get a good education and go to college and get a good job, but you mess up one thing along the way and that could all be thrown away, and whatever you've taken for granted is now gone. So I think it's important to understand that there are a lot of things that are gifts in your life, and to cherish each one of those because you never know when it will be gone. Thanks.